In this lesson, we'll use the particle brush to add some extra wear to our texture. I want to start off by introducing you to Substance Share. Substance Share is Algorithmic's own free platform where users can share content. We're here because we'll be using one of the preset particle brushes to do our wear. The one we're looking for is under Brushes, Particles, and Industrial Leakage by the user Ryan. Now this brush is the same that ships with Painter, it just has some preset values that give it a nice flow. We can save a bit of time by grabbing this preset for a painting. I've already gone ahead and downloaded and extracted this to my hard drive, and I've also included it into the project folders for you to use. Now let's hop back into Substance and import this to our shelf. In our stencil lesson, we use the Import Resource button. This time I'll simply drag and drop the asset to the shelf. Immediately we'll get to the Import dialog. This time it's already assigned its type to Preset. And we won't add our own name, so we can skip straight to the Import Your Resources to section. And this time I'll choose Shelf. That way I can use this for future projects. Let's begin by creating a new fill layer. Name it Leaks. And make sure to pick a red color, roughness to 1, and remove any emissive. We'll temporarily paint in red for the time being, so we can see where our particles are going. We can add our trusty black mask and choose our newly imported particle brush by double-clicking, and simply start painting directly into the mask. Now I'm going to go ahead and just speed things up quite a bit here as I go around the model and paint in areas where a lot of usage could happen on a mech. There's a point where I'll enable symmetry to do this, though I wouldn't suggest it, but for the sake of time and speed, I'll just use symmetry. Like our other masks, you can always invert your value by hitting X to remove any of the paint that you don't like. As I'm doing this, I'm just holding down left click and slowly going around areas where I want the effect. Now I'm not using symmetry this time because I really want these leaks to look unique throughout the front of the model, so take your time doing this part of the texturing. When you're happy with your painted mask, we don't really want to just stop there. Instead, we want to try to break this up further. So I can alt-click on what we just painted to view the mask. Now with the mask selected, I'll choose Add Effect and choose Fill. This will essentially flood the mask with a value, or in this case we can pick a procedural map. So I'll click on the Grayscale tab and choose Grunge 001. Now immediately this map is covering the leaks that we just painted. What we need to do is change the blending mode of this effect. With the Grunge effect selected, let's change the blend mode to multiply. Now this effect is modulating our painted leaks. We can adjust the UV scale a bit, and immediately our paint is now just a little bit more broken up and less perfect. Now let's change up our material settings for this fill layer. I'll change the base color to a darker brown color. Let's do the same with the legs. Because we have our fill layer set up, we can right click and choose Copy Layers, go to the legs texture set, and at the topmost layer we can right click and choose Paste Layer. Now we can't use what we painted up top, so we can right click on the mask and choose Clear Mask, which will give us a clean slate to work with. For the sake of time, I'll enable symmetry and add leaks to the areas of the leg that I feel need just that extra dirt. The way I'm thinking about this is placing wear in areas where there's a lot of movement, like the joint areas, and anywhere there's a connection point. The feet will probably have a lot more wear since it's going to be supporting a bulk of the mech. And don't forget to apply the Grunge 001 effect afterwards. Now that we have added some hand-painted dirt, I think this is a good point to end the module. In the next one, we'll further touch up our textures for rendering. At the end of this module, you should understand how a Smart Material tool works, and as a rule of thumb, always try to use filters that rely on baked maps rather than hand-painted values when creating one. You can always push your textures further by either painting into the height channel or stamping normal maps. This is a fantastic way to add detail without modeling them in. Importing assets can be valuable to add personality to your texture, as well as speeding up the process by using assets found on Substance Share. Adding a new channel shows that you aren't just stuck with straight out of the box parameters. Using the emissive channel in this case gives us a nice touch of the functionality of the mech.